It was a bright and sunny day in the small town of Maplewood. Children laughed and played in the park, enjoying the warm weather. Among them was a 10-year-old boy named Alex. He was full of energy, running around with his friends, climbing the jungle gym and swinging high on the swings. Alex loved spending time outside, feeling the sun on his face and the breeze in his hair. While playing tag, Alex noticed something strange in the sky. A shiny silver spaceship was hovering above the park. At first, he thought it was just a plane, but then he saw that it was not making any noise. The ship floated silently, almost like it was watching them. Alex's heart raced with curiosity, but he pushed the thought away and continued playing. Suddenly, a beam of bright light shot down from the ship, landing right on Alex. He felt a strange pull, as if the light was wrapping around him. He tried to run, but his legs felt heavy. The other kids stopped playing and stared at the sky, confused and scared. Before he knew it, Alex was lifted off the ground and into the air. The last thing he saw was his friends looking up in shock, their faces filled with fear. Then everything went dark. When Alex opened his eyes again, he was in a small, cold room. The walls were made of metal, and strange symbols glowed softly. He looked around, feeling dizzy and frightened. The air smelled weird, and he could hear strange sounds coming from somewhere. What happened? Alex wondered. Where am I? Suddenly, the door opened, and a group of aliens entered the room. They looked very different from anything Alex had ever seen. Their skin was green and shiny, and they had big eyes that seemed to glow. They moved quickly, speaking in a language that sounded like a mix of whistles and clicks. Alex's heart raced. Are they going to hurt me? He thought. He remembered his mom telling him to stay away from strangers, but these creatures were like nothing he had ever imagined. The aliens pointed at him and began to examine him closely. They poked and prodded him, scanning his body with strange devices. Alex felt scared but tried to stay brave. He thought about his mom and how she would want him to be strong. Why did they take me? He thought, feeling tears in his eyes. I just want to go home! As the aliens continued their work, Alex looked for a way to escape. He noticed a small window high on the wall, but it was too high for him to reach. He thought about climbing, but he didn't want to draw attention to himself. Instead, he focused on the aliens, trying to understand what they were saying. One alien, taller than the others, seemed to be in charge. It pointed to a screen that showed images of Earth. Alex realized that they were studying him because he was human. The aliens were excited and pointed at the screen, laughing and making strange noises. Are they making fun of me? Alex thought angrily. He felt his heart pound as he listened to them discuss their plans. They wanted to use human children for experiments, thinking they could make themselves stronger. That's not going to happen, Alex whispered to himself. He knew he had to find a way out. Just then he caught a glimpse of a small green creature hiding in the corner. It looked scared and sad, just like him. Alex decided to approach it, hoping it could help him. Hey there, he said softly. What's your name? The creature looked up, its big eyes filled with fear. I'm Zorax, it replied in a shaky voice. I don't like what they're doing. I want to help you. Alex felt a spark of hope. Maybe Zorax could help him escape. We need to work together, he said, determination filling his voice. Let's find a way out of here! As the two began to talk, Alex realized that he was not alone. Together, they would come up with a plan to escape the ship and return home. After Alex met Zorax, he felt a little better. Zorax was not like the other aliens. It was small and shy, with big, round eyes and soft green skin. Alex could see the fear in Zorax's eyes, and he knew they had to help each other. Why did they bring us here? Alex asked Zorax. What do they want? Zorax looked around nervously, making sure no one was listening. They want to use us for their experiments, it whispered. They think humans are special. They believe they can make themselves stronger by using our DNA. Alex felt a chill run down his spine. That sounds really scary, he said. We have to get out of here. Zorax nodded, its eyes wide with fear. I've seen the ship. It's very big and confusing, but I can help you. I know some places where we can hide. As they talked, Alex noticed other aliens moving around the ship. They were busy with strange machines and gadgets. Some looked very serious, while others were laughing and pointing at screens that showed pictures of Earth. Alex felt anger boil inside him. They shouldn't be laughing at us, he thought. They have no right to take us from our homes. Days passed, and Alex and Zorax became good friends. They spent time together, learning about each other's worlds. Alex told Zorax about Earth, his family, and his favorite games. Zorax shared stories about its planet, a colorful place with strange plants and creatures. While they talked, Zorax showed Alex around the ship. They found hidden spots where they could watch the aliens without being seen. The ship was like a maze, filled with strange rooms and bright lights. Alex was amazed at how advanced everything was. One day, while exploring, they stumbled upon a room filled with strange machines. The walls were covered with screens showing different parts of the universe. Alex pointed at a map of the galaxy. "Look, Zorax, this shows where your planet is!" Zorax looked at the map, its eyes shining with excitement. "Yes, that's my home, but we are far from it right now." Suddenly, they heard footsteps coming closer. Alex felt panic rise in his chest. "We need to hide," he whispered urgently. They quickly ducked behind a large machine, holding their breath. Two aliens entered the room, talking in their strange language. They pointed at the screens and laughed, showing images of different species. Alex felt a wave of anger. "They think it's a game," he thought. "But they are playing with our lives." After the aliens left, Alex and Zorax stepped out from their hiding place. "We have to find a way to escape," Alex said. "But how?" Zorax thought for a moment, then said, "I saw a way out. There's an escape pod at the back of the ship. If we can reach it, we can get away." "Then that's our plan," Alex said, feeling a rush of hope. "But we need to be careful. We can't let them see us." As they prepared for their escape, Alex and Zorax worked together to come up with a strategy. They drew a map of the ship, marking the areas they had explored. They decided to wait until night when the aliens would be less active. On the night of their escape, the ship was quieter than usual. Alex's heart raced as they moved carefully through the corridors. He could hear the soft hum of the ship's engines and the distant sounds of aliens talking. They reached the room where the escape pod was located. It was a small round door at the end of a long hallway. Alex and Zorax exchanged nervous glances. "We're almost there!" Alex whispered. Just then, they heard a loud noise behind them. The door to the main area opened, and several aliens came out, their voices growing louder. Alex's heart sank. "They're coming this way," he gasped. "Hide!" Zorax urged, pulling Alex behind a nearby crate. They pressed their backs against the cold metal, holding their breath as the aliens approached. Alex felt fear and determination swell inside him. They couldn't be caught. They had to escape. As the aliens passed, Alex glanced at Zorax. They both knew this was their only chance. They had to be brave, and they had to act quickly. After hiding from the aliens, Alex and Zorax found a quiet corner in the ship to gather their thoughts. They sat on the cold metal floor, breathing heavily, their hearts racing. Alex looked at Zorax, determination shining in his eyes. "We have to come up with a good plan to escape," he said. "We can't just run for it. The aliens will catch us for sure." Zorax nodded, its big eyes full of fear but also hope. "You're right. We need to be smart about this. Let's think about what we know." They pulled out the rough map they had drawn of the ship. Alex pointed to the areas they had explored. "Here's where we are," he said. "And here is the escape pod." His finger traced a line on the map. "It's all the way at the back of the ship, and we have to cross through the main control room to get there." "Right," Zorax said, looking at the map. "But that room is full of aliens. We need to distract them somehow." Alex thought for a moment. "What if we create a diversion?" he suggested. "If we can make some noise in another part of the ship, maybe they will go check it out." Zorax's eyes lit up. "That's a great idea, but how do we make noise without getting caught?" "I have a plan!" Alex exclaimed. "We could use one of those machines we saw earlier. If we can get to that room, we can make it sound like something is going wrong. The aliens will run to see what's happening." Zorax clapped its tiny hands together in excitement. "Yes! Let's do it!" With their plan in mind, Alex and Zorax began to gather the things they would need. They searched through the small storage areas looking for items that could help them create noise. Alex found some small metal pieces and a few old tools. Zorax picked up a small, shiny device that looked like a remote control. "This could be useful," Zorax said, holding it up. "Maybe it can activate the machines." "Good thinking," Alex replied. "Let's take it with us." Feeling more confident, they decided to practice their escape route. They moved carefully through the ship, retracing their steps. They stayed close to the walls, listening for any signs of aliens. As they practiced, they felt more familiar with the layout of the ship. "Okay, here's the plan," Alex said as they reached the control room door. "We'll go to the noise-making room first. Once we get there, we'll make as much noise as we can to distract them. Then we'll run to the escape pod." Zorax nodded eagerly. "And if we see any aliens, we just have to stay quiet and hide until they pass." "Exactly," Alex said. "We'll have to be quick and smart." As they prepared for the escape, Alex felt a mix of excitement and fear. He thought about his family and friends back on Earth. He missed them so much and wanted to get back to them. He knew he had to be brave. The next day, Alex and Zorax waited for the right moment. They watched as the aliens went about their daily routines. It seemed like the aliens were always busy, but sometimes they took breaks, which was their chance to move. When they saw that a group of aliens was leaving the control room for a break, Alex whispered, "Now! Let's go!" They moved quickly, sneaking into the noise-making room. It was dark and filled with strange machines. Alex's heart raced as they looked for something to create a loud sound. "Over there!" Zorax pointed to a large machine with flashing lights. "If we can make that thing go crazy, it will definitely get their attention." Alex ran over to the machine and started pressing buttons. The lights flashed brighter, and a loud beeping sound filled the room. "It's working!" he shouted, excitement bubbling up inside him. As the beeping grew louder, Zorax grabbed the shiny device and pressed a button. Suddenly, the machine made a loud crashing noise, echoing through the ship. "Perfect. Now let's get out of here," Alex said, adrenaline pumping through him. They dashed toward the door, their hearts pounding. The noise from the machine filled the air, and Alex could hear the aliens shouting in surprise. "What's going on?" one alien yelled. "Quick, this way!" Zorax urged, leading Alex toward the escape pod. They felt a rush of hope as they raced down the corridor, knowing they had a real chance to escape. But just as they turned the corner, they saw two aliens blocking their path. "Stop!" one shouted. Alex's heart dropped. They had to think fast. Alex felt his heart pound in his chest as he faced the two aliens blocking their path. They were tall and had strange, long limbs. The aliens stared at him and Zorax with wide eyes, their mouths open in surprise. "What are you doing here?" one of them shouted.
"Run!"
Alex yelled, grabbing Zorax's hand and pulling it along as they sprinted down the corridor. They dashed past the confused aliens, adrenaline pumping through their veins. Alex didn't look back. He focused only on reaching the escape pod. They turned a corner and headed toward the back of the ship. The loud beeping and crashing sounds from the noise-making room echoed behind them. Alex hoped the aliens were still distracted. "We can make it!" he shouted, pushing himself to run faster. Suddenly, they heard footsteps behind them. The aliens were shouting and coming after them. "They're gaining on us!" Zorax cried, its eyes wide with fear. "We need to get to the escape pod now," Alex replied, his voice filled with urgency. They raced down the hall, dodging left and right, trying to avoid the aliens that were now hot on their heels. Finally, they reached the door to the escape pod room. It was a large round door with a red button next to it. "Hurry!" Alex shouted, his hands shaking as he pressed the button. The door slid open with a loud hiss, revealing a small shiny pod inside. "Get in!" Zorax urged, pushing Alex ahead. They jumped into the pod, and Alex quickly closed the door behind them. Inside, it was cramped but filled with buttons and screens. Alex looked around, trying to find a way to launch the pod. "What do we do now?" he asked Zorax, feeling panic rise inside him. "I think we need to activate the controls," Zorax said, pointing to a large panel filled with flashing lights. "Press that green button!" With trembling hands, Alex pressed the green button. The pod shook slightly, and a voice filled the air. "Launch sequence initiated. Prepare for takeoff." "Yes, it's working!" Alex shouted, feeling a wave of relief wash over him. But just then, they heard pounding on the door. "The aliens were trying to get in! They're going to catch us!" Zorax screamed, its voice filled with fear. "We have to hurry!" Alex scrambled to the controls, pressing buttons randomly, his heart racing. Come on, he pleaded, desperate to escape. He could hear the door shaking as the aliens banged on it, their voices yelling angrily. Finally, the pod's engines roared to life, and the voice announced, "Launch in 3, 2, 1. With a loud boom, the escape pod shot out of the ship, flying through the vastness of space. Alex felt a rush of excitement as they broke free, leaving the aliens and their terrifying ship behind. They were free! As the pod flew away, Alex and Zorax hugged each other tightly. "We did it!" Alex exclaimed, his heart filled with joy. "We actually escaped!" But their celebration was short-lived. Alex quickly turned to the controls, looking at the screens filled with blinking lights. "Where are we?" he wondered aloud. Zorax leaned over to look at the screens. "I can't tell." "This is all so different from my home," it said, worry creeping into its voice. "We need to find out where we are before the aliens come after us again." Alex took a deep breath, trying to focus. "Let's see if we can get the navigation system to work." He pressed a few buttons and saw a map of the galaxy appear on the screen. It showed different planets and stars, but everything looked strange to him. Suddenly, an alarm rang out in the pod. "Warning! Low fuel level. Prepare for emergency landing," the voice said. "Low fuel? What does that mean?" Zorax asked, panic rising again. "It means we have to find a place to land soon," Alex replied, frantically looking at the map. "But where?" "Look!" Zorax pointed to a small blue planet on the map. "That one looks like it could be habitable. Maybe we can land there." "Okay, let's try it," Alex said, adjusting the pod's controls. He steered the pod toward the blue planet, his heart pounding with hope. They could find safety there, a chance to rest and plan their next move. As the pod descended through the atmosphere, Alex felt a mix of excitement and fear. They were about to land on a new world, and he hoped it would be a safe place for them to start over. "Hold on, Zorax!" he shouted as the pod shook during the landing. "We're almost there!" With a loud thud, the pod landed on the surface of the planet. Dust flew up around them, and the doors slowly opened. Alex and Zorax looked out at the strange new world, ready to face whatever came next. As Alex and Zorax stepped out of the escape pod, they felt the warm breeze on their faces. They had landed on a lush green planet filled with tall trees and colorful flowers. The air smelled sweet, and Alex could hear birds chirping in the distance. "This place is beautiful!" Zorax exclaimed, its eyes wide with wonder. "But where are we?" "I think we're on a new planet," Alex replied, taking a deep breath. "But we need to find a way back to Earth." They looked around, searching for any signs of civilization. There was nothing but nature as far as they could see. "Maybe we can find a way to contact someone," Alex suggested. "We should look for a place to set up camp." They started walking through the thick grass, looking for a safe spot to rest. As they walked, Alex felt a sense of relief wash over him. They had escaped the aliens, but now they faced a new challenge, finding a way home. After a while, they found a small clearing near a stream. "This is perfect," Alex said, feeling tired but hopeful. They set down their bags and sat on the soft grass. "What do we do now?" Zorax asked, its voice full of concern. "How can we get back to your home?" Alex thought for a moment. "I remember some things from science class about radio signals. If we can find a way to send a signal, maybe someone will hear us." Zorax's eyes lit up. "I saw some machines in the pod. Maybe one of them can help us." "Great idea," Alex said, standing up. "Let's go check." They hurried back to the escape pod and searched through the machines. After looking around, they found a small device with a screen and some buttons. It looked similar to a radio. "This should work," Alex said, excitement bubbling in his chest. "Let's see if we can make it send a signal." Zorax watched closely as Alex pressed buttons, trying to figure out how to operate the device. Come on," he muttered, feeling anxious. Finally, after several attempts, the device lit up. "Emergency signal activated. Sending message," it announced. "Yes, it's working," Zorax cheered, jumping up and down. "Now we just have to wait." They sat by the stream, watching the device. Time passed slowly, and Alex felt his heart race with both hope and worry. "What if no one hears us?" he asked, feeling a knot of fear in his stomach. "We can't give up," Zorax said, putting a comforting hand on his shoulder. "We've already come this far." Suddenly, the device beeped, interrupting their thoughts. "Message received." "Responding," it said. "Did you hear that?" Alex gasped, leaning closer. The device crackled, and a voice came through the speaker. "This is Mission Control. We received your distress signal. Please identify yourself." Alex's heart soared. "This is Alex! I'm a human child and I need help. I was kidnapped by aliens and escaped to this planet. Alex, we are sending a team to locate you." "Hold on! Stay safe," the voice replied. "Do you think they can really find us?" Zorax asked, looking nervous. "I hope so," Alex said, feeling a mix of excitement and fear. "But we need to stay alert. The aliens might still be looking for us." They decided to set up a small camp near the stream, gathering leaves and branches to create a shelter. Alex used some of the tools they had found in the pod to help them. Working together, they built a safe place to stay while they waited for help. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with colors of orange and pink, Alex felt a sense of calm wash over him. He and Zorax shared stories about their homes, laughing and enjoying each other's company. "We're going to get back to Earth," Alex said, filled with determination. "And when we do, I'll tell everyone about our adventure." Zorax smiled, its eyes twinkling with excitement. "And I'll tell my people about Earth. They will be amazed." Just then, they heard a loud noise in the sky. Alex looked up, squinting against the fading sunlight. "What is that?" he asked, feeling his heart race again. A small ship descended from the clouds, landing softly nearby. It looked like a spaceship, but was much smaller than the alien ship they had escaped from. "This is it!" Alex shouted, jumping up. "They found us!" The hatch of the ship opened, and a familiar voice called out, "Alex! Zorax! Are you both okay?" "Mom!" Alex yelled, recognizing the voice. He ran toward the ship, tears of joy streaming down his face. Zorax followed closely, a huge smile on its face. "We did it!" it exclaimed. "We're going home." As they reached the ship, Alex's mother stepped out, wrapping her arms around him tightly. "I was so worried. I'm so glad you're safe." Zorax watched the happy reunion, feeling warmth in its heart. It had found a friend on this adventure, and now they were both going home. As they boarded the ship, Alex turned to Zorax. "Thank you for everything. I couldn't have done this without you." Zorax smiled brightly. "And thank you, Alex. I'll never forget this adventure." With hope in their hearts and the promise of a new beginning, they set off into the stars, ready to return to Earth and share their incredible story.